Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 10, Episode 2, and we start today on the job screen because there may be a sense of deja vu in this series. We are the favourite for a Premier League job, a massive club, a sleeping giant, and the same club that led to our 2019 glory in this very same series. It's Newcastle United that we are the favourites for. We've had media speculation about them. We of course played them on the last episode, the first day of the season, got a good result there, and I'm really a little bit torn on this one. If we do get an opportunity for an interview, of course we'll attend. If we get a job offer, I'll have to think about it. We have to take into account probably the players, the money we're being offered, and where Burnley are at the time. But as the title says today, Burnley have got themselves into contention. So let's go and have a look at where we are in the table. Before we do that, to avoid any spoilers, if you have missed any of the series or season so far, you can catch up with the transfer live stream and the first episode in the eye above. There's also a link up there to all of the other series on the channel, the FM20 Network Career, which tomorrow there is going to be an absolutely massive episode of, the biggest one of the series by far, could be the finale too, we'll wait and see on that front. There's also my Stadium Review series which continues tomorrow as we talk about Cardiff City Stadium, and then there's also our other long-term FM20 story with Dorking Wanderers. Our first Premier League season's coming to a close in that one, so go and check out how we're getting along. But if you are looking forward to this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. It does make such a difference. Who knows, maybe we'll have an interview today. We have got a big Premier League game nonetheless though. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of the content on the channel, please subscribe down below and turn the notifications on for daily alerts as content releases. I did mention in a live stream on Tuesday that we'd have some sort of community polls to decide what's going to be our live stream moving forward. And we might have another option in the mix now. So head over to the community page and have your say for our regular Tuesday live streaming session, which will start in June. And tell me what you'd like to see most. But today it's all about Burnley. And as we can see, if we go and look at the table, we've somehow got ourselves involved in an early race. And that race is remarkably going to be the title race. If we have a look at the table, we're in 4th place. In our 5 games, we're unbeaten. Manchester City winning every game and a couple of others above us with a game played extra. But we could go up to 2nd with a win. And we're yet to lose in the Premier League. I've no idea how it's happened. We've produced some unbelievable results away at Tottenham and Chelsea and other results too. And things just look absolutely brilliant. So if we go and have a look at the schedule, the finance is still creeping down unfortunately. There's been some really big performers this year so far. You're with me for the 2-0 win away at Newcastle. That was followed by a 2-0 win at home to Norwich. Monchu and Sunday Balogun off the mark in the Premier League. Looked exciting, but he's arguably struggled a bit since. At home to Bournemouth, Ferran Torres got the goal as we were pegged back late on by Pedrinho. And then a 2-1 win at home to Stoke in the Carabao Cup. Jack Vaughan with 2 goals. Every time he plays, he seems to be a threat. He's a young player who has got a lot of developing to do. But he's just brilliant. Physically he's great. He always arrives in the box at the right time. And he even popped up with a header or 2 in that game as well. Having that height at the back post does help so much. We saw it with Pedro Delgado back at Charlton. And this is another example of it. So Jack Vaughan with 2 more there. And he's getting himself close to contention. Away to Tottenham, we drew 1-1. Sunday Balogun in the 94th minute nicking an equaliser. An instinctive poacher's tap in. Everything we could have wanted there. And then somehow we won 2-1 at Chelsea. We looked down and out at half-time last time out. And then Ferran Torres popped up with 2. Again at the back post, arriving at the right time. Again, nearly 6 foot. He's a big lad up there. And he had a poacher's instincts, and having struggled after joining in January last year, he just seems to have got settled down after a pre-season. 5 starts, 3 goals, 2 assists. We're talking about world-class contributions there. But as we head into the Liverpool game on telly today, we have got a few other problems. Those being that Garcia, Furlong have both picked up long-term injuries since the last game, and Liverpool, who are in 6th at the moment, won the title last season. They also, if I remember rightly, won the Champions League. Let me go and get confirmation for that. They did win the Champions League. So they've won the 2 biggest competitions. They won the European Super Cup a month ago. Were runners-up in the FA Cup. They are a big, big side. They won the Community Shield too. I mean, they're basically completing a clean sweep of English and European football. So this is going to be a very difficult test. But before we go and get into that game, please do let me know in the comments what you would do about the Newcastle opportunity should it come along. Of course, it's hard not to think of nostalgia because they brought our best years in FM19. But do we have to consider here we've got the best director of football we've ever had? But then equally, we didn't have the best summer. It's the first time he disappointed. Is he on a downward spiral? He's been linked with being replaced. There's so many other things to consider there. But let's have a look at the transfers, because there is a little bit more news off the pitch too. And that is, in the European transfer deadline day, we lost out on Dujon Sterling. He went to Hibernian for 1.7 million. Third choice right back, third choice right midfielder. Not a big loss in the grand scheme of things. We are still paying a tiny bit of his wages, but to be honest, a good servant, a good player. I probably would have liked to have kept him around the squad for another year, but it's certainly not a disaster he went. So no problem with Neil making up the money there, and he'll go and play in Scotland as a result. We also, between the last episode and now, lost Hossein Zamani. Of course, didn't have that work permit, was always a struggle. 3.5 million rising to just over 4. He's gone to Slavia Prague. A good player, but again, third or fourth choice out there. We didn't really have a backup left winger, and he didn't really fit into our tactic. Likes to play further forward as part of a front three, and we like to play with wide midfielders. So that's never going to be the case, and we weren't going to change our tactic for him because Edmonds is homegrown and a superstar. So that's where we are with those. There were a few loans out as well. The two most notable ones, Andreas Dimitru, he's gone to Ipswich. A decent young player. We signed him a year ago. He's developing well. Probably won't make it here, but I think he'll be a good pro. And then most importantly, we did manage to get Andy May out. The director of football's loaned him to Rotherham in League One. He's scored 2 in 6 so far, and he's starting to improve off the pitch too, which is great. A season of football and working hard, and I feel like he could be a star. But we've got to get him to a standard where he can compete in our squad. And at the moment, he's not as good as Lowry, he's not as good as O'Callaghan, and he's certainly not as good as Sunday Balogun. The other one out on loan was the other young Greek player, out in the under-23s. He's gone on loan to Gillingham this time. I think he was there last year, wasn't he? He was. He went on loan in the National League, helped them to promotion. Now he's on loan in League 2. 3 assists in 6 games. Despite that, a poor rating. Interesting. But there we go. They're the players that have gone out of the club. Some more work from our director of football, just trying to even up the finances. We're still losing money despite being in the Premier League. Something we didn't really expect to happen this month. We'll see if that levels out now that we've reduced the wage bill a bit, that we aren't putting transfer bids in. And we've got 3 months to see if we can get some games on TV and make up the revenue. But let's go and have a look at the squad for today. It's a massive game against Liverpool. Playing the champions is a real barometer of how far you've come. So far against the likes of Tottenham and Chelsea, it looks like we've come a long way, and it looks like we've definitely got the squad to survive that we hoped we had. But this could be one of our last games in charge of the club. So bearing that in mind, we have to be a bit more thoughtful too. If we do leave Burnley, it will certainly be a wrench, and you'll notice if you head over to vote in the community poll, staying with Burnley for a stream save on every Tuesday is definitely an option if we move on here. So go and have your vote in that if you want to see more from Burnley, even if we do leave in this series. Because with so many of the young players, we could either make it a youth challenge, signing nothing but academy players. We wouldn't be under the head coach restrictions anymore, but we could choose to continue to do so. There's so many options there, so let me know what you think. But this is the lineup we've gone for today, and one of our last tests could be against the champions Liverpool. Can we stay unbeaten in the Premier League? We've got Summerskill in goal. Bonner's come in at right back, the young academy player, a star in our first youth intake at the club. He's come in to replace Darnell Furlong, who's injured today. Of course, it would have been Sterling in normal circumstances. We've got Simpson and Flowhall at centre-half and Wardley at left-back if I didn't mention him. Torres, last game's hero, is on the right wing. Edmonds on the left. Xavier, the centre midfielder, alongside Monchu. Monchu's had a couple of really bad games, actually. I'm even thinking about, can we take him out? Who could we put in the middle? Normally it would probably be Manu Garcia. But I think we'll go Orellana today and just see if that makes a difference. In the attacking midfield, we've got Villalba and then Sunday Balogun up front. 2 goals, but otherwise struggled a little bit. I say that, he's got 3 assists, but a set-piece taker. If we're not getting on the end of them, we've not got that dominance in the air, perhaps his ratings are going to be lower. So it's just more that he's having the odd bad game now. But 50 goals in 90 games, we can't complain about him at all. There's more interest spreading around Leon Lowry. Brentford and Norwich wanting him on a transfer. I've no idea why he'd go there. But he has made a bit of an impact this season off the bench. Just creating a few chances, but not able to get that goal just yet. So our bench today includes the likes of Palmer Brown and Craig Robinson for the first time this season, just because we're a little shorter of players due to injuries. And of course we've got Vaughan and Lowry there too. They're going to get plenty of chances of football this year. So into the game we go. Let me know what you think will happen. Jandro Orellana in for his first Premier League start. And we face the champions at Turf Moor. This is going to be a very difficult test for us. 4-2-3-1 for our visitors today. And is that David Brooks of Bournemouth? At 31 years of age, 100 caps for Wales on 220 grand a week. He's not done too badly for himself, has he? A brilliant player by the looks of it there. What a young star he's become. They've got Arthur in centre midfield, still got Alexander-Arnold right back, Alisson in goal, Milenkovic centre half. They've just picked up so many wonder kids. And they've also got the likes of Nathan Ake on the bench still. Must be quite experienced now. But a lot of regens round the side, so plenty of pace going out there. Griffiths up front is a world-class superstar. Isn't he the one they paid 100 million for? 83. Who's the one they paid 100 for? There was definitely someone in there as well. So that just shows you if he's their second busiest signing of the summer, they've probably got a few superstars in their team. Into the game we go though, against the European and English champions. And we're just going to ask the lads to do it for the fans, knowing it's going to be the hardest test in the world. If we get something out of this and we're still unbeaten, I think we can rule out relegation or even a relegation battle. But I think that's going to be easier said than done. Our first defeat of the season could be incoming, but we've started the game quite well, and with 10 minutes gone, there's not been a threat to us yet. And we're back with 15 on the clock as Bonner takes a throw in on the right to Orellana, in for his first start in the league today, in the Premier League this season anyway, and Summerskill gives it away. Poor kick from the keeper and Griffiths picks it up. You do not do that with an 85 million man, and then he's let the shot through him as well. It is disaster for the skipper in goal. Ryan Summerskill, homegrown hero, brilliant, consistent, solid performer, but he gives the ball away and then makes an error with the save as well. And it's 1-0 to Liverpool, the champions. You cannot afford to do that against top sides. And Liverpool now have got the tails up. They're on the front foot on the left. Isak inside to Rodriguez. You can just see the confidence flowing through them. And Burnley's has gone. They're not invincible anymore. As Isak goes through, it was beautiful football. It was lovely triangles all the way. Sliced us open so easily. And Summerskill had absolutely no chance that time. It's Liverpool 2-0 here at Turf Moor. And Burnley look like they're on course for their first defeat of the season. And Liverpool coming forward again on the left. All that early promise is gone. Isak picking the ball up to Jose Henrique. Down the left-hand side, no pressure on him again. Almost the same name as his previous player out there. As Torres puts one in again. Oh, completely sidetracked by the Liverpool attack. It's David Brooks with the assist. Oriel Torres with his second. Again, this time Summerskill did get a hand to it. But you can't really blame him for conceding that one. Unfortunately, everything coming down at Liverpool left as Balogun commits a foul there. That is very lazy attacking play. And Bonner, unfortunately, has been outclassed here. Coming in for his first start at this level. We're going to drop him to a defensive duty because he's really getting outplayed out there. We haven't got options at right back. With Furlong injured, he's going to have to play the next 2 or 3. We've got the Cup in midweek as well. That's against Tottenham, a massive tie. And Alexander-Arnold has a free run into the box there, but thankfully puts it miles wide of the post. Half-time, it's Burnley 0, Liverpool 3. And that has been a pretty poor half of football. It's against a great side with no complaints, but it's going to be hard for us to put up a fight now. So let's talk to the lads. John Underwood wants to say he's disappointed. To be honest, the first 15 or 20 was really promising. We were keeping it well, we had all of the attack in play, we didn't have many highlights, seeing any defensive errors, and then it was just that one moment from Summerskill that's led to this entire downfall here. But at centre half, we're into Milenkovic and now Arthur. It is all Liverpool. They're keeping it, they're confident. They can turn this into a training session if they want now. Out to the left and then they bring it down again. Bonner losing out in another aerial duel. Milenkovic into Brooks. Rodriguez out to Isak. Beats Bonner very easily, who's out of shape. Trying to get back at him but can't. The shot's down to the keeper's left. Summerskill saves and very quickly rolls out as well. Out to Ferran Torres on the right. I know he produced a brilliant comeback against Chelsea. Think it might be asking a bit much today. Brooks to Alexander-Arnold. It's all Liverpool. I mean, this could be 5 or 6 at this rate. Arthur with the early ball. Isak's there. First touch and shot. Great save, Summerskill. Finally got a good one in. Great defensive work. And a wonderful save to get it behind for a corner. Nearly an hour gone. It's 3-0 Liverpool still. And it could be far more if we're not careful. Having said that, we have got a throw on the right now, and Bonner picks it up to Villalba. Plays a 1-2. Can Bonner get an assist? It'll perhaps improve his rating, just build his confidence, but at the moment we're being forced backwards by a brilliant defensive press. And in the end, you just see Summerskill picking it up after Simpson goes all the way back. There's so much pressure on the ball, they press at the right times, they're a well-oiled machine. This Liverpool side is something else, and in both series I think they've become the best side in the game. As Alexander-Arnold gives it away, Orellana picks it up. Can we at least get a consolation? Out to Ferran Torres, taking on Henrique. Can he get it in? Beats him into the box. Beats another. Great effort. Balogun on the rebound, can't get it in. Alisson Becker with the first great save of the game. and it was a good chance for Burnley, but it remains 3-0, and Liverpool still on course for that clean sheet. 20 minutes left, we've got to make some changes now. I think we just bring on youngsters. Lowry for Balogun, who really hasn't had a great game. Jack Vaughan, he can come on for Edmonds. We'll push him forward in a minute. And for Nicolas Xavier's not been great, so Robinson will come on for him. And I think he'll go as the box-to-box, where he's a bit better suited. And then maybe a defensive deep line playmaker for Orellana. In fact, we'll make Robinson a ball winner. Just try and keep more possession, try and get involved, and stop Liverpool playing through the lines. So we're back for another Liverpool attack. I haven't had the chance to push Vaughan forward yet, as you know my superstitions with this. Summer Skill picks it up, so now we'll go and do it. Vaughan forward as an inside forward on support, just to give us a little bit more threat in the box. Get into the back post from the Torres crosses. Maybe he'll be able to nick a goal or two. We saw it worked in the Carabao Cup, although Jamie Higgins on the other side was a much more traditional winger that day. Though I think Bonner got most of the assists, as Vaughan goes the whole way himself there. Hadn't even made the change yet, but he went on a mazy run. Forces a really good save from Alisson. And yes, Liverpool probably stepping off the gas a bit. They've probably got Champions League in midweek, as Lowry hits the bar from the header. And it's a free kick now as we're offside from the rebound. Callum Bonner this time the offender. But we are starting to show some good signs, and these youngsters always make a difference when they come on. And that's something that has to bode well. It's something I'd love to manage Burnley long term. And even if it's not in this save, perhaps on stream, we can just try and take them a little bit further. But into stoppage time, this isn't going to be our day. It's Burnley 0, Liverpool 3, dominance from the champions of Europe and England. And despite us putting in a decent effort, the lads are unhappy. And we've now got a big Carabao Cup tie on our hands. Our first defeat of the season, a remarkable Premier League start. But this is where the hard work comes. The momentum's gone, the invincibility's gone, and we've now got to fight to make sure we don't crawl down the table. So there we go, that defeat leaves us in 5th place. I mean, it's not a disaster, is it? It's a really good spell we've had so far. 11 points after 6 games, I'd take that. We've already played Liverpool, Tottenham and Chelsea. You can't ask for much more. Lowry's got a goal drought, Burnley's unbeaten run comes to an end, and we've declared our interest in the Newcastle job, of course. We didn't do that manually, it's because we were asked in a press conference. The same approach as to managers and players, we don't really get involved in that stuff when we're happy. It's only if we're looking for a job. But the media asked us, so we said they're a good club, we'd have no problem managing them. We've done it before in FM19, who's to say it won't happen 2 years in a row? Let's go and deal with the press conference off camera and look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. We've got a really interesting spell coming up now, a sort of mix of games that you'd expect to win and ones that you don't really know what to expect from. So the likes of Everton and Leeds are great examples, but I think we're going to leave it, barring a Carabao Cup run, through the international breaks. We'll come back at the end of November. Arsenal at home, we might even make it a double header if we've got time, City away, but definitely one of those games. And see if we're still on course for a comfortable Premier League finish. Or who knows, we might be back earlier as we discuss a job offer and move into another club. Will it be Newcastle? Could it be a big boy that gets impatient with a manager? Could it be our first move abroad? We don't really know what to expect. But let me know what you would do with the Newcastle job. If you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on it. It does make such a difference. Subscribe to the channel down below and turn those notifications on. You'll get alerts as daily episodes release on the channel. This series continues on Tuesday, where we may have Arsenal or City, or we may have a completely new job to discuss. We'll also be back with Dorking Wanderers on Monday as we complete our first Premier League season at the club. Just a couple of episodes to go there. We've also got a youth intake to look forward to as well. We'll be in a Premier League side and increased facilities mean our first good intake of the series. Tomorrow, our 2 new Sunday series continue as well. 12 o'clock lunchtime tomorrow is one not to miss. It's a massive game from our FM20 network career. I've got guest co-commentators. It's a massive game and you can come and see me squirm through every shot and goal. Then at 4:30 my stadium review series continues. Myself and a co-host discussing grounds around the country we've visited. Tomorrow's the turn of Cardiff, the first one outside of England. And it's an interesting one and quite a poignant memory for us. So please do come and check that out if you can and let us know your thoughts if you've been there as well. But a big thanks for watching this one and your continued support with the series. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you next time for another big episode as we may be saying farewell to Burnley.